Well, here we are with the halfway point of the season, finally, and it's going to be the first track that I have driven on F125 in the same car that I first driven on F125. It is the wonderful Austria. Already with 2 laps in, we are at least challenging potentially for having a potential podium spot. Well, podium spot, yes. First place is debatable. We are 0.6 of a second down on Zane Maloney, who is currently in provisional P1. It's still relatively early in the session, all things considered. And throughout this practice session, it was scheduled to rain in effectively the second half of the session, but it didn't really arrive until the last portion of the session. But this lap is my fastest lap, and the times did not really improve from here on, which I find very interesting. Hajar sits at 1:14.581. That's 5:01, not sure, but watch the Sector 2 time comparison. 0.3 of a second down compared to Isaac Hajar. So we will have to pull off a whole lot here through this final sector, which I think I messed up in the first attempt that I did. But we'll see here. Clawing through 0.3 of a second better, and then 0.4 of a second better, just barely. As we'll cross the start-finish line, it's a 1:14.4, 1:14.444. And that puts us on pole position for the future and reverse grid P10 for the sprint. And Hajar, I thought, jumped the start, but he did not, even though he did get a good start in comparison to Antonelli. We get a fantastic start, but Correa has other ideas as he'll go defensive, at least try to. He'll slide to the middle lane, but we can't really get by Correa here off the main start. But again, clean start, all things considered, already up 3 positions. I really hope that the F1 AI is a little bit better in terms of race starts, because it is way too easy for Formula 2. There's no way everybody is that bad at starts in Formula 2. So we do get by Correa, at least we try to get by Correa, but he is even with us in terms of speed, so at least I did something correct in my setup. As Correa tries to get around the outside as we go through what should be turn 3, and I will die on that hill. He will actually continue to fight back. This is the most sustained battle. This is what I want. That's exactly what I want out of the AI behavior for F127. And no, I will not stop explaining that whatsoever. But that kind of battling is exactly what I want out of the AI. So it has flashes of brilliance. It is there, but some reason or another, it just does not actually happen. But the one thing that does happen is we finally do get by Correa, entering what was arguably turn 2 as we head towards turn 3. And then just at the tail end of the same lap, we catch up to Zane Maloney, and we will go right on top of the gearbox. At least we should be on top of the gearbox. I don't know what I'm saying at this point, but regardless, we are faster than Maloney. He also has DRS. We are dead even, and he'll brake first, I brake second. And then both of us with DRS, we will be making our way closer to Stanek over the course of the next lap, which, well, it's the end of lap 4 coming to lap 5, so it took me a couple laps to catch up to Roman Stanek. But for some reason in that corner specifically, the last 2 corners here at Austria, the AI just cannot carry a lot of speed. I'm able to carry way more speed, so we will get alongside Stanek. And we'll take away the inside lane as we move ourselves just barely up to P4, taking liberties with the curves there just a little bit, but we do catch up and pass Stanek. We catch up to Martins, entering the uphill to not turn 2, but not in the main corner, not to turn 3, but to turn 2, as Martins will try and go around the outside. I'm not really sure where I'm going to go, but here, Martins makes it pretty easy. Dirksen has 0 DRS, Martins does. So I just follow Martins through around the outside. If I remember correctly, Dirksen, no, he does not fight back. I thought he would, but luckily for my own sanity, he chooses not to fight back either. That's pretty par for the course. We'll catch up to Martins, who now is the one without DRS. We'll also be the ones without DRS here, so I'm willing to absolutely take that risk, as Bortoleto is doing the same thing he did in the Barcelona sprint, just sees the lead, and suddenly he is just, he's gone. He doesn't exist anymore. He is leading by an insane margin, all things considered. As Bortoleto is the one who is just a little bit faster. We barely snagged DRS from Martins by millimeters, And keeping out on the outside lane, we'll have the preferred lane of corner exit, and we will make our way firmly ahead of Martins and no longer in the threat, at least for the time being, of Victor Martins. It is scheduled to, I say scheduled, it is supposed to rain during the sprint race as well, so we'll be dealing with that. You may have noticed the clouds as well. And there is, shockingly, a raindrop. And making our way through what arguably should be turn number 3. We stay ahead of Martins with about 9/10 of a second ahead. And then here, I don't know. That's what happened. I love not meeting the obligatory, really unnecessary, that's the word I should be using, the unnecessary objectives for zero reason. And even though we're already entering pit road, the engineer is very firmly telling us, hey, we should probably box for wet tires. But man, I sure do love the objectives in this game. They're very useful and definitely make a lot of use. No, I will not stop complaining about them. They are the most annoying quote-unquote feature, I would argue. At least in Formula 2, they just make zero sense. And sometimes they're literally not achievable. As we are stuck here, we had an open spot for a while there, so I don't know why the game decides to spit us out. Clipping inside of Correa. I need to be very careful on corner exit, but the track is just, the tires are too cold and the track is slick enough to the fact that we damage our front wing on exit there. But it should be pretty minimal. It will be the first time that I've dealt with front wing damage that's minimal. And, well, it was minimal enough to the point that we do end up catching up to Victor Martins again, but this time, no DRS in our favor, since it's, you know, wet. So we do catch up to Martins. He doesn't get the best corner exit, probably because he has the car on the curb there. Interestingly, now that I'm seeing this now that I have time to look at it, as Martins tries to squeeze, still leaving a car width of space, but not making it easy. The one thing I'm very fascinated by is that you can't see the flashing lights, the rain lights on the back of the cars. You're supposed to be able to see the back of the rain lights on the cars. You know, the key thing that you're supposed to see in wet conditions. The important thing to see that there's an entire car ahead of you, but regardless, we do get by Martins, and we will catch our way up to Dirksen and Stanek. Not necessarily Bortoleto. We should see here in a bit that Bortoleto is miles ahead. Same place that we passed Martins a lap beforehand. I'll make our way around to the outside of Dirksen, but I see that inside lane is open, so we're going to go for the switchback as the rain has stopped for the time being. And you see Dirksen, sorry, not Dirksen, but Bortoleto is 10.5 seconds ahead. Up to 11 seconds ahead, so it's a very firm win in terms of Bortoleto. For Stanek, we'll do the exact same thing, look to the outside, and just cross back over to the inside. And there is the notification saying, hey, it's time to go back to slick tires, so it's a very easy win for Bortoleto. A very short period of rain, but enough for it to be slick, and enough for it to be, enough to basically say that, like, hey, get wet tires. That's a little bit important. I don't know why I'm saying there. I'm not going to re-record that, so we'll just move on. I choose intentionally to not change the front wing for the stop, as I just barely... I forgot how close I cut that. Yeah, we cut it close. There goes Bortoleto, by the way, up ahead of us. But we cut it close in terms of pit speed.
Enzo's in the pits. Enzo is in the pits now.
So we go back to the soft tires, down and away. Again, I don't know what it is with that pit release. And this time we're a little bit more careful in terms of pit exit. Way more careful on the turning. Way more tentative, trying to not have the front wing explode, preferably. But that is pretty much it for the pit stops. A 2-stop race, and that's it for the race. I kid you not. It's a matter of, we did chase down Bortoleto throughout the entirety of the last portion of the race, but of course he was so far ahead that it doesn't matter. But we come out with a P2 podium spot in this sprint race.
Yes, mate, I'll take that. Well done. We're really happy with the podium down here, so well done. Yes.
And thanks to that, we are a full pole position, sprint win, feature win, including fastest laps of each. We have that much of a margin to Ollie Behrman as we go to the feature.
Here we are amidst the dense forest and rolling hills of Spielberg in Austria, just 2 hours out of Vienna. It's an amazing destination for the race today, and we're about to get started. Spielberg is a very short lap, one of the shortest we'll see in this Formula 2 championship. 7 rights and 3 lefts make up the 10 corners of the circuit. The left-hand kink of turn 2, leading into the uphill braking of turn 3, represents another overtake hotspot. Let's take a look at the grid positions for today's race. Frostbite lines up on pole position, with Isaac Hadjar alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Antonelli, Miney, Juan Manuel Correa, Maloney, Stanek, Bortoletto, Martins, Joshua Dirksen, Aaron, O'Sullivan, Jack Crawford, Ollie Behrman, Colapinto, Hauger, Pepe Marti, Enzo Fittipaldi, Cordial, Barnard, Verschoor, and Ritomo Miata completes the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's get down to the track.
And we are away from pole position. Hadjar has no chance of challenging us, at least on the first lap, especially off the start line. We get a fantastic start in comparison, and it is all setting sail from here, or setting drive, or whatever car analogy you want to use for that. I don't know. Again, I don't script these. I'm just here existing, talking about funny virtual cars that go through them. Oh yeah, I forgot I actually overshot turn 2 almost. No, it's not turn 3, it's turn 2. Anyway, yeah, I was a little bit distracted during this point of the race, but luckily I managed to actually, focus and set the fastest lap of the race, and then have it immediately stolen by Miney. But hey, as long as it's not Hadjar, that's fine by me. But I do manage to snag it back in the meantime. I'm pretty sure if I know this clip correctly, yep, a little bit of a slide out of turn 1, and that will bring in Hadjar into DRS range, to my absolute horror. So we do skip ahead to at least that corner where he is within DRS range, and just rapidly approaching, 3.5 tenths behind us and closing. Man, I can't wait for DRS to be non-existent, as we will go defensive. We do give him the racing line, but we'll stay on the defensive line, nearly locking up the right front just a little bit, but we do manage to survive and continue on in the lead, just a quarter of the way through, or fourth of the way through the race. No, that is correct. Yeah, a quarter of the way through this race. I can math sometimes. But I do get distracted here, so I had to pause, and then didn't help matters is the fact that Hadjar was right there. So I had to do a quick thing and to step away real quick, so I had to pause there and step away and then come back, and then I realized, oh yeah, Hadjar's still here. So I play a little bit of DRS games here with the detection point. I brake a little bit early so I can get that DRS point here. And maybe, hopefully, Miney was able to actually get by Hadjar, but for some reason, somehow, despite the fact that Miney has DRS against Hadjar, he was not able to get by Hadjar, and I'm not sure why. Add that to the list of things that I hope are improved for F127, but I have a train of 4 other cars behind me, all the way back to Maloney, by extension at least. He's not directly part of this battle, but he will be trying to make his way around, I think, in the background. I'm trying to look at the dots. Trying to make his way by Antonelli. Either way, that might be Antonelli trying to make his way by Miney, but regardless, a successful defense for a few laps. And then we promptly move forward to the next portion of the race. Lap number 12, where Hadjar was right up the gearbox, and I decided, you know what, I'll let him take the position here, and we do kind of door him a little bit. And I heard that contact, so I don't want to do that necessarily. That's why I did not activate DRS just yet, because I do want to let Hadjar through. And now I activate DRS to at least defend from Miney at this point. So out of technicality, we do lose the lead for the first time in this race. But very quickly, and I mean very quickly, the front straight, we will get that P1 right back here on the main straight. This is the one thing that I'm very surprised about that mine you couldn't do, is at least challenge. But I willingly back out at the end of the straight, try and get the switch back. It's not going to work here fully, but we do have the overspeed Hadjar tries to squeeze, but not able to do so as we get alongside him. But I'm going to play more DRS games here, just braking a little bit, DRS games a little bit, just making sure he can't take the apex. And we do kind of make a little bit of contact, but I think it was minor enough that, oh man. I do think it was minor enough contact that it's worthy of staying ahead of Hadjar. And now we have to have that fun little, very unnecessary stay ahead of this person until insert random lap here because reasons. It just doesn't make sense. I don't like it. And we will, spoiler alert, end up losing that here in a few moments because of this. Just went way too wide, and I can't really move here, so I kind of have to stop here because he's directly on my side pod, and somehow that's a severe collision. I have many qualms with this. So we do box early, but I have many qualms about that. I'm going to talk over the engineer, so I do apologize, but how did Paul Aaron get a 10-second penalty? I actually don't remember that one. I actually don't remember Aaron having a 10-second penalty. Probably because he served it. That's a new one to me. But yeah, that severe collision with Hadjar, like, I couldn't move. I'm sideways on the track. Oop, bonked my wheel. So he literally drove into my side pod when I tried to reverse. I can't do anything about that. So I don't get how I get the severe collision penalty. But again, hopefully a thing that's sorted out with the F127. Etc., etc., etc. Luckily, the loss of position isn't as bad as you would think. Even though we do have a 10-second time penalty, we still have, because of everybody being in pit road, we have an open gap here. I don't know why we couldn't get in front of Hadjar. It's a clear open gap, but we do come out in P11. So back to the safety car restart. We can't pass Hadjar, unfortunately. A little bit of an awkward thing. It's like you get into an argument with somebody and then you both end up walking off in the same direction for a uncomfortably long amount of time. And this is what that scenario is here as we come back to, finally, green flag conditions just before the halfway point of this race. And we'll see. I'm very tentative. I'm trying to sit right on top of the gearbox of Hadjar, just trying to sit right on the rear wheel, almost the rear wing, practically, to try and get by him. DRS should be re-enabled this time. Might be the next lap if I remember correctly. It is, yep. I should know this by now, especially after watching F1 for 5 years now. But we are down in the way. It's not a spectacular restart. All single file for now, but I do have the opportunity to go by Hadjar, but I just didn't move in time. And we have severe front wing damage. See, this would make sense for a 10-second time penalty for a severe collision with Hadjar, not him nosing into my side pod gently when I am stopped sideways across the racing line with nowhere to go. But hilariously, we're also behind Paul Aaron, which is interesting. But we are forced to box for a new front wing and a new set of tires due to the damage that we had. So that potential of getting points has completely slipped away from our grasp as we head back into pit road. Again, cutting it close at 60 kilometers right on the dot, but DRS is enabled, and we just do a lot of driving as Victor Martins, as we come back, as Victor Martins has spun, and I let the engineer take over. And it's a red flag, shockingly enough. So we come back to the grid. And for those interested, yes, I do have red flag set to standard still, so I'm very surprised that it was a red flag trigger. There was a little bit of contact in the back from where Martins had spun. You should be able to see it from the onboard if you do choose to rewind. That there is a front wing that breaks off, so I think that's also the reason that there's a red flag, because it can't handle a car stopped and also debris, I guess, for a safety car for some reason. But we are back running once again. We have a little bit more side pod damage, almost introduced more front wing damage. There it is, as I think Cordeal is just leaning against my side pod. Because I am all the way on the right-hand side of the track. He has a car to his left side, yes, but even still, like, I think even after that car had passed him, I think it was Verschoor, even after Verschoor had gotten by, still leaning on my side pod, so it is not looking too well, but we do have some resemblance of pace, kind of. But not as much as I would like, as we're just following Cordeal here. Verschoor with a 5-second penalty as a result of the contact from the safety car, as we'll go and try and fight against Cordeal, but that side pod damage is just a bit too much for us to actually get by, so it's not going to help too much as he breaks a lot more than I'm expecting here. But as per usual, we should be able to get by the AI here very easily on the exit of the front of the corner. If this was a drag race for position, I would be devastated because we don't have that straight line speed. But having DRS enabled here actually helps out a little bit. I didn't even have to lift, which is both good and also concerning, considering the fact that Cordeal now has DRS as a result of him being behind Verschoor by extension. And even us with DRS, it's the same thing. It's similar to Imola, where we don't have enough overspeed. We do have overspeed of some other cars, but not enough overspeed in terms of the good majority of the field. So it's going to be a very rough last 10 laps. I think 11 laps out of technicality, but we have caught up to Verschoor and Miata, who is incredibly slow. And here is the example of just how much speed we don't have as they were trying to go side by side. Barnard tries to go by Miata, but just isn't able to. I think he breaks his front wing, actually. I remember seeing a piece of the front wing. Now he'll go alongside. I'm very surprised that Barnard actually tried backing out because of Miata going defensive. So O'Sullivan's going to follow Miata through, and I'm just going to follow O'Sullivan because I don't really have much else to do as still keeping the nose there as Verschoor. He's not helping matters for me with my corner exit. He's not helping matters with me for my position defense either. Cordeal is there as well. I generally just do not want to be around as a result. I am braking so hard, downshifting, trying to just carry the momentum through so I don't carry the momentum into the corner. We do defend against Verschoor, but now it's O'Sullivan who is the driver that is slow. And Miata, we just barely get by. I don't know if we made contact or not, but we do just barely get past Miata. Verschoor is about to follow through. Miata's got DRS because he was behind O'Sullivan. And now Miata has DRS on us. Actually, Verschoor, because those two went side by side behind us. So it's me versus O'Sullivan, and this should technically be a familiar sight where I have DRS this time, but again, damaged side pod.
Okay, mate, right, that front wing damage is going to hurt us. We've really got to look after it now. Let's put everything into protecting that front wing, please.
I like how that's an objective to make, and you see me looking at the MFD being like, what damage is there, unless there's stupidly light damage. I'm thinking to myself at this point, yeah, don't damage the front wing. That should be the mandatory job of every single F1 driver as we get way loose, way unsettled, as we sit directly behind O'Sullivan. Hi, Verschoor. How's it going? You may notice that we're on softs instead of super softs as a result of the early pit stops and me having to replace the front wing as well. Pitting again, actually, before the red flag. I would have switched to super softs, but it genuinely would not let me for whatever reason. I could not switch to super softs, or else I would have switched to super softs. So that might be a partial reason as to why I don't have the overspeed, but also it's the fact that, I mean, come on, I have side pod damage. I am struggling here. Verschoor with the 5-second penalty is trying to do everything he can to battle for P11, I guess. Even though Barnard is 4 seconds ahead, there's nowhere Verschoor is going to get by, but we have a train of cars behind us. As on lap 33 coming to 34, we will finally just get at least alongside O'Sullivan is what I would think, but man, it is utter pain to race with side pod damage. I can only imagine, actually it might be floor damage, it might not even be the side pod technically, but I'm chalking it up to the side pod instead of the floor. But potato, they both help with aerodynamics with the car, and I will finally make my way alongside O'Sullivan, snag DRS from him into turn number 2, I should say, and we finally get ahead of O'Sullivan. Man, I've learned that Colapinto also has a 5-second penalty, but we are not able to catch up to Colapinto because see also the damage we had. So Kimi Antonelli is the race winner, and the advantage that we had in terms of the points, if I remember this correctly, has pretty much slipped through our fingers as a result of this race. Colapinto falls back behind Barnard as a result of his 5-second penalty, and we come home with no points in P11.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
He sounds about as excited as I feel, and I don't blame him, because now we have 10 points less of an advantage to Ollie Behrman going into the next race, which is Silverstone. So here we are at the aforementioned Silverstone. Real original commentary, I know. We are starting, as per usual, with our fastest possible lap, and I think I did multiple attempts. I think I did about 7 laps on these tires. I don't really fully remember, but again, only the fastest lap as I completely missed the apex here. Locked up the right front, trying to nail and carry speed as much as I can, which, no duh, that's the entire point of the qualifying lap, but I'm trying to get every single, like, thousandth of a second that I can get throughout this lap. And in the first sector, it's not too bad. In comparison to Marty, though, I'm only 36 hundredths of a second faster, so it is not looking good in comparison to Marty. But through here, I do gain time, and I do lose a bunch of times. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but the timing it's doing timing things, that's for sure. And through here, this corner is something that has been a little bit of a challenge, especially in the F2 cars, considering that you can't really go full throttle. I don't know if you can go full throttle in the F1 cars either. I don't think they have enough downforce, but through the second sector, just the end of Maggots and Beckett's, we activate the DRS, and we take a look at the time. This time, it's looking a lot better. 5 hundredths, well, also 500ths, but mostly 5/10ths of a second better in comparison. And here, since I backed out on my last lap a little bit, is where we gain all the time in comparison to our own lap. But the main thing is to at least try and get top 10 as we go through the chicane and then through the final corner. And we will come across the start-finish line to go P6, reverse grid P4. And we are away with a fantastic start for the sprint race from P4 all the way to P. Well, I swear, I'm on 95 difficulty. The AI just kind of, at least in Formula 2, I haven't tried Formula 1 yet, but the AI just kind of sucks at getting off the grid in Formula 2. Don't know why, they just do, but we are down and away in the lead, and as long as we are ahead of Behrman by a lot, then this helps us secure the spot back, get us a little bit of a buffer again in the championship standings. And this part of the race is going to be a pretty quick one. We go on to lap 12, where Miata is behind us by 2.5 seconds, and this is all that happens. I am just driving. That's it. Miata and myself have created a 10-second gap to P4. And this is pretty much like all I've had through the race. I overshoot the chicane just a little bit, but managed to hang on to it. And the goal is to stay ahead of Miata until lap 18. Well, I do that. It's a very done and dusted sprint race, considering we also set the fastest lap. And that's it for the sprint race. Quite literally, nothing happens. It's just me leading. I got into the lead. I saw nobody else since then. That was it. It is a very, all things considered, quick. Well, not quick for you. It was not quick for me. But for you, it's a very quick sprint race. And we have that gap hopefully opened up to Behrman once again as we just launch over the curb for a sprint win.
This is just the beginning, guys. I'm so proud of you all.
Yes, mate, I'll take that. Well done. We're really happy with the podium down here, so well done. Yes.
And as a result of that sprint win and the fastest lap, we are back to 37 points ahead of Ollie Behrman as we head into the future race.
Welcome to Silverstone, one of the staples of the Formula 2 Championship. It's a firm favourite amongst fans and drivers alike, and we're all keen to see what it has in store for us in today's race. 5 miles out from Toaster, this icon of British motorsport heritage comprises 18 corners over 3.6 miles of circuit. Silverstone has been through several changes over its lifetime, with the start line now leading into Abbey, a fast right-hander for turn 1. But still there, of course, is the circuit's most famous and iconic sequence of corners, starting at Maggots, turn 10. Here is the grid for today's race, which will be starting shortly. A fantastic effort from Andrea Kimi Antonelli yesterday puts him on pole position, with Ollie Bearman alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Dirksen, Aaron, Franco Colapinto, and Vachon, Frostbite, O'Sullivan, Maloney, Britomo Miata, Miney, Cordial, Victor Martins, Isaac Hadjar, Hauger, Bortoletto, Stanek, Jack Crawford, Pepe Marti, Correa, Barnard, and Enzo Fittipaldi completes the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
And much like the sprint race, we get a fantastic start. The goal is to finish ahead of Oliver Bearman. And with him and Antonelli side by side heading into turn number 1, it's going to be quite easy for us to catch up to Ollie Bearman. But the matter is who's going to be out on top as we head through the opening sector down towards the hangar straight. Antonelli has the preferred lane as the Prema teammates battle. We just nick the rear light housing of Bearman's car with the front nose cone. No DRS, of course, on the opening lap, so we won't be able to capitalize just yet to get by Ollie Bearman, but we are there, and we are looming in his mirrors. I said the same thing, but worded differently, I just realized. But you know what? That's par for the course with these kind of races, where it's just pretty simple, where not much happens. I kind of worry for the F1 race, but this time we have the second lap coming down to lap number 3 as, well, I got the overspeed at the exit just a little bit, but you know what? I'm going to go for it here into the chicane. He brakes way earlier than I thought, and I keep all 4 tires within the track as well. So that is us up to P2 and fully ahead of Bearman once again in the point standings, and we're snagging fastest lap just for good measure. So you skip ahead to the hangar straight. Actually, not even the hangar straight. This might be the hangar straight. I forget which one the hangar straight is, but either way, we head down towards... I actually forget the corner names. I used to know the corner names of Silverstone off the back of my head, but I don't fully remember. So if I'm calling out the wrong sections, I am so sorry. As we get a little bit loose through the chicane, and then we will make our way into the lead in front of Antonelli, but we still have to defend from Antonelli a couple laps later. It was a little bit of a defense regardless, but he will actually fully make his way around the outside, and this is the battling that I want to see in F127. I try and think about going for a switchback. I see it's there, but just not possible, at least quite yet. So wait until the second DRS zone, and just like before we got Antonelli, just like before where we got by Antonelli, we do it once again, this time taking the lane away from Antonelli fully. But we're going to be stuck on a very inopportune lane here heading into the chicane, but we will have the preferred lane as we go side by side, preferred apex for us, and that's us back into the lead once again at Silverstone. So a little bit more of a battle than the sprint race at least, as we move on to lap number 8. And this is, again, just kind of what I deal with. I just lead, and there's not much to miss. A little bit wide here on the corner entry, but this is just what I've been dealing with. We head down now for pit stops on lap 12. I'm a little bit tentative, but trying to gain all the speed possible and just get the speed under control. And very shockingly, Antonelli actually stays out, where everybody else, at least behind me for the most part, comes into pit road. I'm very surprised about that. Colapinto and O'Sullivan stay out, so does Miata, but everyone else is, it's not even mostly split strategy. It's not 11 cars. It seems to be a good majority of the grid in pit road.
Right, let's go. Come on.
Actually, now that I say that and I see the counter, it is half the grid in pit road, because Barnard is P10, but we loop through down to the point where Antonelli exits pit road, and we are just barely outside of DRS range. of Antonelli, but he just came out pit road. He's on cold tires, so we will have a little bit of an advantage of some sort going down the first DRS zone, and hoping that we can get some sort of slipstream, hoping that's a bit more powerful, but it just doesn't seem to be enough for us to get by Antonelli immediately. So we move on to where we are in DRS range of Antonelli fully, and we go to the left-hand side, but we have to back out. I thought he was going to give us a space, but decides against it, even though we show the nose. So you decide, you know what, if he's not going to give us a space, I will make a space for myself, as we do the same thing that we did with Ollie Bearman. Take the lane away and just brake more strongly into the chicane. And then we are once again in control of the lead for a few more laps until, well, I say a few more laps, until a few more corners. But this time it'll be the opposite, where Antonelli is actually able to pass us on the inside, so we lose the lead. And we go once again back to the main passing zone of this, at least for us. Or to the left, fake out back to the right, just to gain that line once again. And actually, hopefully this time, solidify the pass way earlier on past Antonelli. And we are once again in control of this race. A little bit more action compared to the sprint race in terms of actually position swapping, but overall, you can look at the track map as well as we get a little bit loose off of the final corner. But you can take a look at the track map where it's quite distant between ourselves and Antonelli. I defend a little bit stronger this time, but Antonelli flies around the outside. I try to squeeze the car a little bit, still leaving space. He does drift wide, but I'm able to hang around the outside, but just not for long, or so I thought. As we power through, we unsettle Antonelli with the positioning, and he will just decide to back out before Copse Corner, which is probably the best thing to do. As we skip ahead to lap 25, this is the one major mistake that I made, just too much gas too early. But I am very lucky that it was in a slow section. Unfortunately, well, fortunately, Antonelli doesn't have DRS. Unfortunately, we have lost the lead. So guess what? It's that same passing opportunity once again. We commit to the outside, tires nearly in the grass, if not just barely having the sidewall in the grass. And around the outside we go into the lead once again, past his teammate. Antonelli doing a fantastic job at trying to defend for his teammate Ollie Bearman to close the gap between Bearman and myself heading into the final race, but it was not enough. At the end, we notch another victory here, another top step podium in a feature race. This time, it's at Silverstone.
This is just the beginning, guys. I'm so proud of you all.
Absolutely awesome. Just amazing, mate. Well done.
And so the points as follows. I didn't get an image after the race, but this is the points going into Hungary. 53 points between myself and Ollie Bearman, and 63 points back to Antonelli, 81 points back to Hajar. It's going to be a very easy second half of the season if we can continue this momentum.